as for the one lung, all right. So when I was I think I was 15 or 16, I was in high school wrestling. It was my junior year going into my senior year. I was at, what was it? It was like the Michigan Open. It was just a bigger tournament, or Macomb County tournament. That's what it was. And I'm at Anchor Bay. We're wrestling, and I'm wrestling this guy from Alma. His dad's there watching, so I know he's all hype and everything else. I'm beating the guy really bad. I'm body locking him, taking him down, pushing down the head, just really working the dude. So I'm in the third period. It's 11 to 1 or 2, and the dude's on top of me. I hit him with a switch. We end up going scrambling a bit. Cool. He stands up, gets another point or something like that. I'm about to tech him. I take him down again. I'm on his back. He's flattened out. He immediately throws an elbow and just starts smashing the elbow into the top of my head. I'm like, well, shit. And I just ducked my head. I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point. So I just ducked my head. The ref throws him off of me and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Just completely yelling at the kid. In my head, I'm laughing. I'm looking at his dad like, what the hell? So I win the match off DQ. You know I was going to win the match anyways. I walk off the mat. They take me up. A few days go by. It was really cold, and we were doing something stupid as a wrestling team. I remember the heat was out when we were still training. I get sick, and I get pneumonia. From those elbows, I get staph in my head. And I'm like, well, this is my first dealing with staph. I don't know what's going on, along with having pneumonia. Now, I'm at home, and I didn't want to bother my family. I was kind of feeling sick. I wasn't feeling great. I was raised when you're hurt or something like that, you don't really complain. You just kind of let it happen.
Get over it. Understand? Yeah, get over it.
Yeah, you don't want to bother mom or dad. You don't want to make them think you're sick or something, or have them take you to the hospital when you don't think that.
I trained with Crohn's disease, dog. I didn't never want nobody to know I was hurt. So
exactly. See, so you don't want to complain. You don't want to be that guy that's complaining, especially when you're a young kid and you're trying to be tough. So I would go through the day, and it would be me going from 104-degree fever down to 95, and I would be bouncing up and down. And that happened for 3 days, excruciating pain, everything else. I'm like, well, the one night I couldn't sleep at all. I wake up my mom and I'm like, hey, we need to go to the hospital now. And she's just like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. We need to go. So they get me to the hospital. I pass out on my way to the hospital. I wake up in the emergency room in a bed, and they're like, I remember the doctor talking to my mom, and they're like, yeah, he might die right here. So whatever you want to do or whatever you want to say to him, make sure you say it to him now when he wakes up. They put me on Dilatin, I think it is. It's the stronger or the parent version of morphine. And I'm in there just zonked out. I'm remembering certain things. I'm looking at the curtains, making shapes with it, seeing imaginary football players playing football. There's a dude across the way from me, and he had got shot that night. And I'm at Dearborn Hospital before they flew me to Henry Ford. And I'm talking to him across the yard. I'm like, what's up, brother? We got to stay strong, dude. I said, we got to work hard, out there. And he's like, what the hell is going on with this kid? I'm so zooted. So I go to Henry Ford now, and I'm starting to kind of figure out what's going on and everything else. I'm coming out of this high, and they're like, hey, your lung completely collapsed. Your bronchial tubes are eating on your left side. You basically are running on one lung right now. I lost – how much did I weigh? I lost about 20 pounds in the hospital. I was already around 145 or 160 for that season. I got all the way down to 142. I was yellow. They had to put 2 IVs in me at the time, and I was in the ICU for about 2 weeks. And then I finally made it out. They were surprised, and they're like, just talking. They're like, you're probably not going to be able to do sports ever again. They're like, it's just going to be way too hard. You only have one lung. We don't want you to get hurt or anything like that. But I remember the one thing that actually, not only was it my junior year going to my senior year, I wanted to finish my senior year wrestling. And, that was the one thing that I really look forward to was wrestling. It's the one thing that, I would make my parents drive me to every practice. If there were summer programs or anything like that, I wanted to compete. I wanted to have those matches. I'd have my grandfather drive me in his truck all the way out to Almont so I could wrestle or anything like that.
Yeah, whatever.
And I was like, I just can't. I can't let it up. This is my identity at this point, and I just wanted to compete and just be around those people, especially being very socially awkward. This was my time to make friends and everything else. So I remember they did a echocardiogram, and they were checking my heart, and the one doctor, she said something, and it still sticks to me to this day. She said, "You have one of the most healthiest hearts I've ever seen in my life." She said, "It looks like a lion. We just did a Lions football player." She says, "Your heart and your muscles in your heart are like the same as him." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can't quit. There's no way. I was like, I'm good that I got all this stuff. And I don't know why it sticks out. It's just so silly. But she was like, "You got the heart of a linebacker." And I'm just like, oh shit, that's cool. And like, it kept on playing. So I go home a week and I'm not in school yet. And I finally go back to school. Now, I used to run all the time. I used to skip classes and go run. I would run like 7 miles a day because I used to be a heavyweight, which I could tell you guys about that too. I used to be a really, really fat kid. And I get to school. I'm in JROTC, and I used to run all the PT and all the physical training classes. So like on Fridays, we would do like gym. So I'm going in there. I'm about to run. I'm like, "Hey, guys, we're running a mile." They're like, "Okay." My teacher said, "All right, don't do anything. Just hang out." I was like, "Okay." So she leaves. As soon as she leaves, I start running with everybody. So I finished the mile, harder breathing, couldn't even breathe anymore. I fall down. I pass out at Central High School. I'm just out on the ground. I wake up, breath's back to normal, and I just keep doing it. Like every day, I would just keep running or keep doing the cardio, or I would make sure I got to a wrestling class or something like that, breathing heavy. But with that being said, now I feel like that's why my cardio is so much better, because when they do x-rays or check it out now, that muscle or that lung on my right side just fills up my whole entire rib cage. And then I feel like there's no incorrections with the breathing, where sometimes they'll go out of rhythm. I feel like it's just one big breath. Now, mind you, it might be pseudoscience and it might be not real, but in my head, I'm like, I got the cheat code now. That's why my cardio is better than everybody's.